Well, it's an embedded ad, so
Yeah,
it's just...
I don't think Star Wars and Star Trek are in any kind of an actual competition.
Not anymore. I know for a
No.
while they were.
And
But
I think Star Wars is winning right now. Star Trek was obviously the winner for that whole period after Next Generation or after Return of the Jedi. I mean, you could debate it, of course, but
well, they're both franchises are producing premium content that's actually
yes.
And it's diverse content. So if you don't like one stream, you're bound to go after another. Which is the smart move. If you want your franchise to have any form of sustainability, you'd want to play to as many audiences as possible as your resources can afford. And now in science fiction, all your money's going into graphics, building sets. But anywho, okay, so hello and welcome to another episode of Next Generation's First Generation. I'm your host, Sascha Shouties, and with us, we also have our co-host, Patrick Delmore.
Hey, everybody.
Yay! So today it is Power Play, where we have yet another episode of disembodied spirits who just really want the ship and go somewhere. And they do it in the most violent way possible because it's all they know. So,
hey, how about instead of recording today, we just go to the Southern Polar region? I really, really want to go to the Southern Polar region, Sascha.
Okay, let's do it. Just whatever you need. Okay, so queue up your devices. You probably won't be hearing any audio on this one, and that's deliberate.
At least not from the show. Hopefully you'll hear our voices.
We're doing a jury-rigged multi-device recording at the moment today.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. Countdown is 5, 4, 3, 2, and play.
Captain's log. Stardate 4.
Beautiful. Look at those moons, man.
It's pretty nifty.
Science fiction has a lot of habitable moons. That just kind of seems to be the trend. And interestingly enough, NASA and other space agencies are starting to align with that belief that you're probably going to find the most exciting life on a moon. Good example are some of the moons on Jupiter at the moment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was always that we would be able to use Earth's satellite as a colony, almost right away. Moon hotels by the 80s.
I would have loved to be in a space hotel or any of the space tourism industry, but I have a feeling by the time they get diversified enough to start taking middle class folks, I will be long dead.
Oh, yeah. And you'd have to be trained to go on vacation. It would be fun, but it would also be a lot of work.
Yes.
So there's supposedly a Daedalus class ship crashed on this planet. And Troy can sense that there's somebody down there.
Mm-hmm.
Riker's hair's a little bit out of true here.
Yeah, it's like he's got the part kind of moving forward a little bit. Okay, so this is Power Play, as we like to say. This is our, I don't know, what is this? The 15th episode, season 5. Came out February 24th, 1992. So that means we are just cleaning up after the inaugural day windstorm. And life
that'd be
is
the next
good.
year.
Oh, is it 93?
The election was 92 and the windstorm was 93.
Right. Okay. So we're still in George Bush Sr. era, not Clinton.
Yep.
Well, that means the Animaniacs haven't come out yet because we wanted to hear the Clinton play the sax.
Yep.
Yeah. So
But
anyway,
Tiny Toons went to the White House this year.
Really?
And met George and Barbara and Dan Quayle, who was like a giant little boy.
I wonder if Star Trek had gotten any senior politicians to come check out the show. You always hear about bringing, like the Dalai Lama, for example, came and visited the show, I think in season 4 or 3. He wasn't on camera, obviously, but just kind of did a walking tour.
Yeah, the only I know, conservative radio talk advice host Dr. Laura was on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No,
I don't know when. Oh no, she loved that show.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's great at giving,
and she got to be on it at some point.
Well, this show is so good at dispensing bad advice. No wonder she likes it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. Seatbelts on the shuttle. Look at this. This is the first time I've ever seen seatbelts.
Yeah, it's not done as a joke.
No.
If any other times the seatbelts come up, it's a big yuck.
Mm-hmm. They must have had a lot of fun just putting the cast on this shuttle and just rocking it back and forth.
Yep. Now, having okay, Data, you can't react at all. Riker, you got to hold on to something. And Troy, do you like being rocked around real hard? Good, because that's what's going to happen.
Now, what is interesting to me is typically it's a stationary set and they just rumble the camera, but this time it's a little bit of both. You got a little bit of camera rumble, but definitely a lot of movement of the shuttle, and that's just something I've never noticed before in the Next Gen. I wonder if they had to kind of practice not using their fake moves, if that makes any sense. So,
yeah.
Rock to the left, rock to the right. No, the ship's really rocking to the right. Oh man.
A lot of writers on this one.
Oh yes. So they crash landed, and that's just a damned ugly shuttle. I'm sorry.
It is.
Yeah,
the toy of that shuttle was great though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was not quite proportionate to the what is it? The company that made the Next Generation figures was Play something. I can't think of the name of it's going to drive me crazy who made them, but they made a shuttle and you could open the back of it and it looked great. And it had little wheels that it rolled around on.
That's so
you didn't crawl out a hole in the back. It opened all the way like you'd see the ones on the ship do. Now, the sad thing is obviously you couldn't create a proportional Enterprise toy for that shuttle to go inside of, but
no, not at all,
because it was great big. But
and this is where I have to ask myself, they have these beautiful round, no hard edges starships in this era of Trek, and then you have these real boxy shuttles. It's just let's just slap them together. We got a few sheets of duranium laying around.
Now, I guess Troy actually broke her leg doing this stunt, or one of them did.
Yeah, one of them did. That is correct. Darn it, I had it in the back of my head too. I'm sure some of the more tuned in listeners will know right away exactly who it was and can answer this question.
Oh, that's right. O'Brien's got to go down there, and this is our first real Mess with O'Brien episode, which would become a standard on Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah, O'Brien must suffer.
And we didn't get enough of this understanding the working relationship between Geordi and O'Brien, because Geordi is technically O'Brien's direct superior.
Yeah. The chief is just kind of in charge of the room, where Geordi is the department head of all of engineering. Beaming down. No, well, O'Brien was on the Cardassian episode, but that wasn't a direct mess with O'Brien. That was
he's useful in certain situations kind of a thing.
He's been triggered by past traumatic events, and he is our subject matter expert to talk to this vigilante captain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody, gather round, hold hands. Do you want to see my Pog collection?
Yeah. Just here, O'Brien. One day I'm gonna have a Pog. Like, you don't even have a Funko Pop yet.
He doesn't have one yet?
I don't believe there is an O'Brien Funko Pop. If there was, I would have it.
Oh man.
I've got my only Star Trek Funko is I've got a Riker one, just because I got you one. I got you a Picard one, and I got myself a Riker one.
I've got the Picard Funko Pop right next to the fake bottle of wine that Matt made for the Picard Vineyards. So here we have the crew got knocked out by lightning, and some blue orb beams came in, and I should silence my phone. They all decided to inhabit bodies with the exception of Riker. So now we're looking down on Troy, and we don't really understand what's happening yet, but she's definitely, something's going on inside that brain of hers. Whoa.
Yeah, she wakes up evil. Gets to play that. I mean, totally, we say it every time, totally capable actress, just bad writing.
Mm-hmm. And there's like, are you okay? What's going on? Now, this is great because Data, O'Brien, and Deanna are now evil, and they have to just kind of play it cool. Whereas everybody else is, oh man, my arm, it hurts so much. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, there we go. So the captain is getting a debrief of what's going on.
Good for Brent Spiner. He's like already moving in a different way than Data normally moves. He's got this like I'm angry, and
he's holding it together kind of look.
Yep, he's twitching his fingers. He usually stands ramrod straight, and he's got his hands folded in front of him.
Yeah. Well, episodes like this are a lot of fun for Brent. He has always commented that anything that he can just become an entirely different character as Data, if that makes any sense, really lets him kind of explore and have fun. So he really throws himself into the part because his baseline character Data is always just kind of locked in the role. In fact, it's a lot like what they would do with Spock in the original Trek, the TS.
And once again, this is the first time the request for the southern polar region.
The polar orbit. So we're gonna go record at the polar region, you were saying?
Yeah. It would work. Just maintain an orbit there.
Okay. Sounds good. So here we go. Deanna is negotiating with the captain to say, I did hear voices down there, and we should try to check this out. Now, what's interesting is that you could take exactly what Deanna's saying in any other context, and Picard would go along with it.
Yeah.
I think that the hesitancy of not going to the polar region is out of character for the supporting crew who are not taken over by aliens.
Yes.
Whoa! Out of nowhere, punches him. Oh,
I'm sorry. I mean, he's got to be real possessed to do that to Worf.
Oh yeah, Worf's a big guy, but he did push him over the chair, and I love how they're just phasering everything out.
Love that, just pounding on the controls.
Wow, it doesn't take much to knock people out in the 26th century.
No.
24th, 26th.
It's the 24th century.
Oh man. So they have phasers. Now, all they had to do was just lock down the bridge. They didn't really need a phaser fight, but okay.
No.
That's good acting too. The elevator drop.
Data should have no problem wrenching that door open no matter where they are.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. Didn't we just see an episode a season ago where Data commandeered the entire ship and locked everything out to go fly off and find his father?
Yep.
The episode Brothers. And here, Data with 2 accomplices can't achieve the same mission. Maybe they up their security protocols.
A couple of not very tough-looking security people with him when he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Chief O'Brien knocked me out, and one of the people that we're going after is Data, who could rip you apart like easily without being possessed."
We need somebody from the parkour class.
Yeah,
parkour. So they are locked in. They're phasered, or not phasered. They are force field. Smash the glass.
In a version of the mirror universes in the novels, Troy is almost like the Intendant from Deep Space Nine, where she holds the she holds the ship in complete control because of her psychic abilities.
So there's Keiko with Molly and 10 Forward. They never left since the disaster episode. They've been just sitting up in a booth in the corner.
Yep.
Oh, Keiko just does not have any luck in 10 Forward.
No, and we were talking. I got to watch this with my dad and my sister around Christmas time, and just how this would require so much counseling for Keiko and O'Brien. And Troy couldn't really do it because Troy is part of the trauma.
You can imagine in Deep Space Nine when you had the Pa Wraith taking over Keiko, and after that episode is resolved, Keiko and O'Brien get together. It's like Keiko goes, I get it now. Getting taken over by an alien entity. I'm so sorry about what I said so many years ago about you bursting in."
And O'Brien's like, "So we're even."
Yeah. It's a little strange how these creatures inhabiting the bodies of Troy, O'Brien, and Data can just take phaser fire without being affected. I get that they're still conscious, but you think there'd be phaser burns on their uniforms where, the material may have melted a little?
Yep.
Or caused damage to the epidermis. Okay, so here we go. It's turned into a hostage situation. They're locking down the computer. They're in the 10 Forward.
But it's what do you do if they go to engineering? Because we haven't, established any real characters in engineering other than LaForge and O'Brien. Oh,
you mean what if this trio go to engineering?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're trying
LaForge
to go
is on the bridge, and our other main engineer is up in is one of the baddies.
Well, there's Barclay.
There is Barclay. Actually, it would have been interesting to have him in this.
Well, Barclay was he taken over by a third party entity? No, he was just made hyper intelligent and took over the ship himself. Man, too many people could just go rogue and take the ship.
Very true.
Holy cow.
But yeah, that would have added an extra. I mean, you would have had to bring in Dwight Schultz because he wasn't a series regular, but would have just added an extra thing to it where LaForge is I got to be on the bridge to take care of this, and Barclay, whatever happens, you hold the line.
Now, was Geordi on the bridge when the initial fight broke out, or did he just show up?
He's just showed up.
Okay. I do appreciate though how the captain's already trying to figure out what's wrong with these people rather than punishing them. I mean, heck, if this was a Cardassian ship, they would just blow a bulkhead and 10 Forward and call it done. But we don't do that. Wait, they're putting the comm badges back on? Did they take somebody else's comm badge and put it on? Because they dumped their comm badges in the turbo lift.
I feel like they must have.
Okay, and
that would also mean that they wouldn't be regarded as who they actually are. Keiko wouldn't have a comm badge.
So it was Marina Sirtz who broke her coccyx.
Oh,
I think that's the tailbone, if I remember correctly. She was the only cast member in the scene to do the stunt herself, despite her face being barely visible in the finished shot.
That stinks.
Marina later claimed it could have been Worf in Troy's costume and we wouldn't have known the difference. Now that's funny. I would have liked to see that. Data, don't do it. Don't start a fight with the Klingon. You will get distracted.
That would be fun to have I think somebody has done it, like a bracket of like Star Trek characters fighting each other, but I wonder, I think Data would handily defeat Worf, but
a barrel could defeat Worf.
Yep, boy, that one's coming up.
My mom was really happy about that episode because she got to see parallel bars in the future, and parallel bars are a tool used in basically physical therapy.
Yeah.
And occupational therapy.
Yes.
You have 30 seconds to change your heading or additional crew members will require medical attention.
This isn't so serious that we'll kill people. That's right. They can't kill people because their plan is to get everybody possessed. I forgot about that.
How funny would it be? They're all on 10 forward, right? Data and Troy are hanging out by the bar, just kind of waiting for time to pass for, let's say, Picard to meet a demand. And then Data just suggests, this life form is very familiar with this environment. I have an urge to make you a Sumerian sunset. Just a reference from the previous episode where Data also lost his marbles and was thrust into another role of bartender for a hot second.
Like Riker's like, why wasn't I affected? Well, the number of enhancements that you take kind of turned the aliens off, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to stop with the supplements there, Riker.
Oh, hey, we had stunt babies in this episode too. A stunt prop baby was used during the filming of the 10 forward scene.
Oh yeah, you'd have to.
And they reused the broken nacelle from the shuttle in the DS9 episode Battle Lines.
Hey.
That's kind of cool. So it's not like I did hardcore research. I'm just reading off of pages off the internet as we're watching this.
Oh, no worries.
So credit to Memory Alpha, folks. A lot of hard work, people putting this information together. So the negotiation scene is taking a really long time. And
as it would. I mean, that's kind of how you do negotiations, is you have to draw them out.
Mm-hmm. Just for a hot second, that guy on the ground looked like he was just checking his cell phone. See him in between Troy and O'Brien? He's got that cell phone head tilt, like, oh, nothing to do. I'm going to catch up on the gram.
Well, those information pads were, pretty close to cell phones.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm pretty happy to see that a lot of the novelty technologies that we see in Star Trek are reproducible today.
Very much so.
The only thing that we truly struggle with is, so the tricorder is this magic gadget. You can just point it at something and it will tell you what you need to know to move forward. Now, we do have lots of different sensors available to us, like a stud finder, for example, or LiDAR on my car to let me know I'm close to somebody, or a carbon monoxide detector, or a carbon dioxide detector, and or just there's all sorts of teeny tiny little gadgets that all kind of are the size of your hand. If we could just get them all together in one device, I think we would have our tricorder. But given the current state of technology, that thing would probably be the size of a large suitcase.
Well, the other one that I think is coming is being able to scan something from the outside without touching it, and just being able to tell how much it weighs.
Ooh, that would be neat.
Yep.
I know who you are. Please leave me alone. We don't like this game, remember?
Like, that baby isn't even real. I mean, this one is. Not this one, though.
So I'm going to go back and repeat what I've said for the last 3 or 4 episodes, maybe more than that, is that they did the delivery all wrong on this episode. They should have introduced who they are first, and then force the hostage situation when they couldn't get what they wanted.
Yeah.
And this is done in Deep Space Nine, if you remember. It's like in the 4th or 5th episode where Cisco and the Kai and a whole bunch of other people go to a prison planet that they can't escape. And they establish right away, we're prisoners. We want to leave, but we can't. And it's because of a difference in values is what drives the conflict.
Whereas, a good episode.
It really is, because it reveals the true nature of the fighting parties and justifies Cisco abandoning them. Here, it's a little easier. Oh, someone comes in, does violence against us, let's abandon them. No, it's more of a, I think violence is too easy of a solution to work your way through a plot. Reaction to violence should not drive your story, and this is exactly what this episode is doing.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We're explaining it. So Troy is explaining to Picard. So we are about 25 minutes into the episode. So about halfway. Okay. I can't explain how it happened. I only know that I did. I thought I was just going to go have 1 month of Amazon Prime, and now I've been a subscriber for years.
Yep.
I will never get those hundreds of dollars back, regardless of the free shipping.
Like, yeah, I know they don't pay their workers a living wage, but damn it, I need that package now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about dialing back and no longer having Prime. Well, there we go. The medical crew is taking all the unconscious people out. Data is looking very annoyed. I wonder if he had to kind of take lore and change that personality up. Because
no, this is more like, just mean, crooked man, scare kids kind of type guy.
Oh, there you go. So the neat thing about this episode is that you don't have infinite technological solutions to solve it. So I know that I was dumping on them earlier for responding to violence. And that if you can do this, this, and this, and this, it would just solve the problem. But now they're finally having to talk through what's going on. What I don't understand, though, is why these aliens have to pretend to be the crew from the Dauntless that had crashed so many years ago.
The Daedalus, you mean?
Daedalus, yeah. Well, they're not Daedalus. Data's right there. So they want to rest. They want to die. You know what? If they want to die,
they should have gone to Janeway.
Mm-hmm.
She would have just blown them all up.
There's the right way, the wrong way, and the Janeway.
Yep.
They also did this episode on Enterprise, if you remember, where they're flying into a nebula or something, and the spirits are slowly taking over the bodies. And if I remember, Malcolm's pre-programmed red alert protocol saved everybody by automatically raising the shields before they fly into a sun or some nonsense like that.
That would have been hard on Enterprise if people got possessed. It's like nobody knows like what Mayweather and Hoshi are actually like. So like, is this weird or do I just not pay attention?
Okay, so here we go. We're drilling holes in the floor. They're installing the webcam over the toilet. No, I mean
yeah, the food processor with a cash register on top of it. Yeah,
there we go. You know, that surprisingly looks like some of the tests I have to take. So I have glaucoma.
Yeah.
And I go in every 9 months and they shoot all sorts of crap into my eyes. That's one form of light or another measuring things. And that right there reminds me of an HRT scan where you have this round red light and you got to look at it directly so the image is right in the center. And the only difference here is that you've got the cast members sitting in the center of the circle. So this is our technological solution that the doctors come up with, is that they're going to bombard them with some kind of electrical force. But all three of them have to be in this very narrow circle for it to work. And the hope is that when they are knocked unconscious, the spirit beings will leave their bodies. Though they never really kind of talked about what would prevent those creatures from just entering other bodies in the room.
Yeah.
If anything, it would make more sense for one of them just to leave Deanna's body and jump right into Picard. Then Picard can just say, okay, I order you to do this. And before you know it, they get what they want.
It was funny, a minute ago, you see, Troy and Data conspiring together. But it's like whatever's in O'Brien just made him more Irish. He's like got his chair and he's like, all I need is, me glass and me pipe. Me wife nursing the baby by the fire.
Is that a potato in there?
Yeah.
Oh. And this is
this. Is it gold? Give it me.
I found it in a pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also the room they got married in. So
yeah,
you want to talk about relationship skills. I would have to, as much as I love the O'Brien Keiko relationship, at a point where we last see them, they're just leaving Deep Space Nine for this to move back to Earth. They are now part of each other's traumatic history.
Oh yeah.
They've known each other for so long that a trauma has occurred where your significant other is part of it. And so they must have some really fascinating triggers where if you're acting, I mean, everybody's going to be kind of not themselves one day out of a year, for example. Mm-hmm. So if you notice Keiko's not herself that day, you're like, honey, are you an possessed alien being today? What's going on?
Yeah, we had a rule that if you drink coffee in the morning, I'm going to ring all the alarm bells.
Yeah, that's right. Well, if anything, that just means that they would have a very clear communication system of what their triggers are.
You would hope, because I mean, it seems like they got married barely knowing anything about one another.
Oh man, they knew nothing about each other. But apparently, Data's Keiko's best friend, and we don't see Data and Keiko vibing off each other like
I know
O'Brien and Keiko are.
They will like mention in the novels occasionally that like Data will take up some new activity because Keiko thought it was a good idea for him to do that, and I like that quite a bit.
Yeah. No, you don't go after the woman with the baby. You shoot the baby. That's the most important character. Ah, jeez. I am so tired of the tough guy. I'm going to threaten to kill you.
You know what I would have said if I was Picard?
What's that?
Picard, just to try to trick him. Pick one to die or I'll do it. And I would have just been like, I'll kill them. Give me the phaser just to see if it threw them off, and then take the phaser and shoot.
Well,
the guy.
There is a tactical advantage to making everyone expendable, is that the hostages no longer have something to deal with. Oh, there we go. Look at that. They did the jitterbug. They shocked 2 out of the 3, and the entities left. Data walked out of the circle. He's doing a very convincing neck lift.
Yep.
So do you think there's some guy just kind of pushing Patrick Stewart's rear end up to help him raise him
on a pneumatic lift or something that they cut the sound out from?
Oh yeah.
And they go right back in.
You went into the wrong bodies.
When they did this on Futurama with the body swaps, they actually had to create a new mathematical formula to be able to get everybody back into the correct body.
What?
They won some kind of a prize for it. Yeah, because they were like, they switched and switched again. So they had to set it up to like how to get everybody back to the right person.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, the writers did that?
Yeah.
That's so neat. I love it when the writers are smart. It really geeks out my my Psypo side, where I'm just really drawn to unadvertised intellect. Let's put it that way.
It's so weird that that's how they chose to make that look, where if it really wouldn't look any different than anywhere else where they're in orbit of the planet. It would have been fun if they'd showed, like the Enterprise upside down from there or whatever.
Ooh,
that would have been cool. Anytime they do that where stuff isn't on a straight line and it's like at a weird angle, it's great.
Well, it's also a very popular method to show when something's wrong in a TV show, is that you just tilt the camera. Batman did that all the time.
Totally. It's called the Dutch angle.
Oh, those poor Dutch.
Yeah. Not to be confused with a Dutch oven.
This episode's going Dutch. I feel like I'm paying for half of it. Oh, look at that. They're angry and 10 forward, and they're leaning in and trying to figure out stuff. So this episode very much feels like it's being shot in a shoebox.
Yeah, and it should. I mean, that's what it'd feel like to be held hostage.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they're just letting Worf and Picard talk to each other. I mean, didn't Data just break those two up maybe about 5 minutes ago?
I feel like they're all aware enough that like Worf and Picard have never come up with a plan together. They're not collaborative people. I mean, at least not when it comes to one another.
Yeah, Worf. I don't think Worf and Picard have ever come up with a great idea between the two of them.
I mean, I think what you would worry more about is Picard being with Riker or Worf being with, members of his security team that he has a tight connection with. And there's another relationship we never see. It's like, who are Worf's guys on his security team? You know what I mean?
Right. The only people we really see teams of are Geordi and his engineering crew, where we'll see 1 or 2 regulars for about 2 or 3 episodes, but there's always somebody. Or we'll see Riker dominating ensigns and trainees and lower ranking people.
And I think he and Geordi have an interesting off-camera relationship. The characters, not the actors.
I never thought they liked each other, to tell you the truth.
That's the game. It's like Riker comes down real hard on Geordi, and then Geordi will watch other people mess with Riker and be like, "Ooh, I know what's going to happen because it happens to me a lot." I did not realize until just this watch that the colors on that picture behind the bar change.
Yeah, it's a light actually with a little spectrum on it. Now, what is that thing supposed to be like? Just layers of rock? I don't get it.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like a preliminary version of that huge sculpture that's in Palpatine's office in Star Wars Episode 3.
Ooh, yes. Okay, we're moving, folks. Everybody grab a hostage. Don't take Worf, take the baby. Separate the baby from the mom. If you want the most points for stress and anxiety, take the child. Child's not going to fight back. The child's not going to try to come up with an escape plan. The worst thing that's going to happen is poop and vomit.
Yeah, but you also, a mother that's had her baby grabbed from her has nothing to lose.
Ooh, yeah, true. I think Keiko would fall on that sword.
Yep.
Well, in most cultures, messing with children is the line you don't cross. And so I bet you they tried to take the baby. Picard would say, "We'll all die right here, right now, if you take this child. We're not going to let you." So here we go. They are going to the cargo bay. Look out, Worf, there's a barrel.
That episode's coming. It might be the next episode.
Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, some of those barrels are actually for hazmat waste disposal that they repurposed. Oh, yes. Boy, they love their containers on this ship. I swear.
It's probably an easy prop to get.
Oh, and cheap too. And it's a great space filler. It makes it look everything official and clean and tidy. I know I reference this in Deep Space Nine a lot, but they get great alternative source material for that show. They used military cargo nets. They just would throw nets over the crates to make it look a little bit more rustic, I guess you could say.
I like that we've finally gotten to Captain Schumer, tell me who you really are.
There we go. No Starfleet captain would act this way. So here we go.
And then enter the Delta Quadrant, where lots of Starfleet captains that get stuck there act that way.
There we go. All right. So remember how I said earlier about blowing the hatch and 10 forward? That's why they chose Cargo Bay 4, is to blow the hatch. They're all their buddies.
It's all our Twinklies. It's Big Twinkly, Little Twinkly, Twinkly Jr. Everybody come meet the Twinklies.
Now, if they had just come up with a way to put a creature in a mask and then distribute the masks to all the characters on the Enterprise, and then the Enterprise would turn into some version of a South American water temple. Oh wait, no, that episode's coming up. Actually, I think that's a season 7 episode.
Yeah, hundreds of condemned prisoners.
It's a penal
this
colony.
Moon is a penal colony. Oh, should have blown it up.
And this is where, because you're prisoners, you're not allowed to be relieved from your suffering. I really hate that from Star Trek, is that they corrected this. Most specifically, Michael Burnham just corrected this. If you're
just going to say, Discovery just had an episode where they saved everybody from a penal colony, and we're like, they're not on your planet anymore, so they're not beholden to your laws. So no, you're not going to reincarcerate any of them.
Yeah. Well, I think back to the outrageous Okana. Also, in Deep Space Nine again, that same episode where the Kai and everybody went down to the deserted moon. the opinion was whatever their crimes were, they've suffered or paid for it 10 times over. Actually, I think Bashir was the one who said that. So here we go. Picard is giving a demand to the hostage takers, saying, if you don't return to the bodies right now, we'll open up the doors, we'll blow everybody into space. You die, we all die. Now, if Picard was a real man of diplomacy, he would tell one of the spirits to remain so they can just talk about exactly what happened. And say, hey, we get that you're suffering. How can we help you with this? Could we get a whole
with Starfleet?
Could we get like a whole bunch of cats and just give you one cat per person? And I mean, you're evil. We'll put you in a cat. No one will notice the difference.
There seem to be no residual effects except on the marriage of the O'Briens.
Well, this is what keeps Troy in business. She's probably professionally geeking out. Yes, I finally got taken over by an alien entity. Now I can provide really good therapy because I know what it was like. No. Hey, look at that. Apologies. We don't see enough apologies in this show. Your restraint was most remarkable.
I have no idea. Data's like, no, I would have killed you.
That's Data being polite. So that it goes into the question with the O'Briens is that they probably always want to have a friend in the room just to kind of so they feel safe from each other. If that makes any sense.
And then weird zoom in on the baby for the end of the episode.
It's a baby. I was baby. Yeah. I'm gonna.
Again, it's like sorry, kid. The future of Star Trek is Naomi Wildman, not Molly O'Brien.
Oh boy. You know, they could have done some great things with the Molly character. Okay, well, look at that. It's the end of the episode. Holy freaking smokes. That went by pretty quick.
It did indeed.
So some things to consider. This was a good episode. I really liked it as a kid. I'm thinking as an adult that everybody came out of the gate with the wrong intentions. I think that the crew was really too slow to understand that they were possessed by creatures that were lying about being possessed, if that makes any sense. The creatures could have, if they assimilated the first Starfleet crew, they knew the kind of mindset that they were getting into and probably could have gotten whatever they asked for had they just not been violent. So it's the continuity is not really there for me. It's like, if you knew the kind of people you were engaging with, there's no need to be jerks about it. But of course they're prisoners, so they have to play the role of the prisoner, which again, like kind of what you and I both just talked about, is that, you know, why just because you're an inmate doesn't mean you're a bad person. I actually worked in a prison for many years as a recreation staff, and so that was basically providing engagement activities, things that people could do so they wouldn't go nuts in prison. And you know what? Yeah, there's some jerks there, but also they're people, and they people just like you and me, and they respond to what's thrown at them. And the Enterprise threw no hostility at them. For them to respond in that way just seemed a little strange. But for I don't know, for scoring purposes, I'd have to give this one a 4 out of 5. It's still a lot of fun. I like the interplay between all the different characters, and you know, Brent getting to play something other than Data is always a treat.
Yeah, I also put it at a 4 out of 5. But you're right. They're one of the things that they used to have to do in Star Trek is to go, you know, things that are not human are bad. So it's a prison. It's a prison of things we don't understand, and they tried to use us for something. So we are not going to respond kindly to it, but the Picard that I know would have said, yeah, we'll take on a representative, not one of you guys that took us hostage, but we will bring him, somewhere to negotiate, because he did it for a hologram later on.
Yeah,
he did it for Moriarty.
That's right. Boy, and if you can treat a hologram better than a random space beat ball of light. Oh, hey, you know what? Continuity's sake, I was wrong. Deanna was taken over by another non-corporeal life form in Clues, if you remember, a while ago. So I take that joke back. Okay. Well, sir, I think that wraps up another great episode.
Indeed it does.
I want to say thank you to everybody for listening, and make sure to catch us for what's our next episode coming up after this one, Pat?
I'm not sure.
I bet you it has something to do with Captain Picard and someone pushing buttons. That's my guess.
I was thinking it was the Worf gets hit with the barrel episode.
Ooh, is it? It is, I think, ethics. Yes, it is the barrel episode. Oh, this is going to be great. Okay, folks. Well, with that being said, I'd like to say have a wonderful day. Music provided by lofigirl.com. Artists include Tenno, Daydreaming, BVG in Mondberg, Insomnia, WYS, Snowman, Be Calm and Banks, Because. Episode cover art created by Matthew Kirshner. Podcast logo and main cover art provided by David Clawwitter. Audio engineering done by Sascha Schaudies.